It's time now for our Athlete of the Week, and it's presented by Diamond Point and Sauk Centre. And with us today from Sauk Centre is Tommy Traeger. Tommy, let's start out first of all. Tell us about your family, okay?
Well, my parents are Mike and Missy Traeger, and then I have a younger brother who's a freshman named Matt.
All right. You've had one match so far, right?
Yep, one match.
All right. How did that go? Tell us about it.
Well, we played here and at Melrose, and I shot 42 here in Sauk, which I was pretty happy with. It felt like one or two strokes, and I could have been a lot better. But then we got over to Melrose, which traditionally I struggle with a lot because it's a little tighter course, which I don't play well into because I'm a little more wild off the tee. But you know, I shot 46, so I'll take that, I guess, and try to improve on it at the next few meets.
And one other factor, wind, huh? Was it pretty windy?
Yeah, it was. We had like I think it was 15-mile-an-hour wind, so definitely had to take that into effect when you're hitting your clubs and make sure you're making the right choices.
Yeah, how do you adjust to that, especially say going into the wind? How does that change for you?
Well, like when I'm going into the wind, I try to judge about how fast the wind is going, and usually try to play about a yard per mile-an-hour of wind difference. And then if you're going into the wind, I try to hit the ball a little lower. Whereas if I'm with it, I'll try to hit a little higher and catch the wind and ride it. And
I suppose then going with the wind, you have to be careful not to overswing, right?
Yeah, because if you overswing, you might snap hook it left, which I like to do.
Okay, well, I guess that's all part of being a disciplined player out there, right? You've been a varsity player for a number of years now. How has your game changed from when you first started out and to what you're doing now as a senior?
Well, when I first started out, I was in 8th grade, and I was pretty small. I couldn't hit the ball very far. I hit the ball way right a lot of the time, and I worked pretty hard with my uncle on it after my 9th grade year and to straighten out and try and hit the ball more to the left. And as I've gotten older, I've been able to hit the ball a little farther, which has given me opportunities to hit shorter irons into greens and given me opportunities to score better.
Now, as you play in the conference especially, you see a lot of the same guys. How do you approach a match when you're going to play somebody tomorrow, let's say? Do you look at who you're playing against and adjust your game accordingly, or how do you view all of that?
You know, there's certain guys that you're more comfortable playing with because you play with them more often and you know them. So you're a little more relaxed when you play with them. But I guess I don't really focus too much on who I'm playing with, more of the course that I'm playing and trying to beat the course, not the other players with me.
And as you talk about courses, what courses or what type of course do you like that fits your game? And then on the other side, what don't you like?
Well, I like a course like Greystone, which is a little more open, allows me to hit my driver without too much interfering with that. So if I do miss the fairway, I can usually still try to get back to the green. I struggle with a course more like Melrose or the one we play at Bold and Olivia. They're real tight, kind of those old style courses. A lot of trees and greens that you can't really hit into them. You got to kind of hit to the front and let it roll up. So it's a totally different style than out here where I've learned to play. So. Well,
what happens at the end of the year? Where do you play once you get to the playoffs and the section play?
We would play at Blackberry, which is very similar to Greystone in a lot of ways. The greens they hold the shots the same way, and they've got some open holes, but they're also, most of the course there is pretty wooded. So,
can I ask you too to kind of critique your own play and talk about what you like to do, and then I guess on the other side again, what don't you like to do as far as some of the clubs that you like to use?
Well, I like to hit a driver off the tee and try to give myself a wedge or a 8-iron into a green because I feel like those are my best two clubs. I don't really like hitting irons off the tee because then I have to try to hit another good long iron, which it's kind of hard to string two of those together a lot of times, especially when you're trying to hit into a green. So, yeah, just trying to really get a shorter iron into the green so I don't have as much of a room for error.
And how's the putting game?
The putting was pretty decent yesterday. I didn't chip very well, so I actually ended up having 35 putts over the day, but if I had chipped better, it probably would have been a lot less.
You've been with some teammates here for a number of years now. How do you interact with those guys when you're out there playing? Do they kind of push you to get better?
Yeah, well, you know, Carter and I and Ryan Kane, we all moved up in our 8th grade year, and so I've been playing with them for a long time. And then in our 9th grade year, Jake Kluver and Charlie Barhorse moved up with us, and so really the 5 of us have been playing up for a long time. And it's kind of nice to play with them in the summer too, because they're all pretty dedicated to it in the summer. So we all like to go out and golf in fivesomes, and sometimes we can get Richard away from his lawn mowing business and come out and play with us too.
How much do you play during the course of a summer?
I try to play 1 to 2 18-hole rounds a week, and at least try to get to the range twice and the putting green twice.
I know too that just knowing your family with your parents, they've been big backers all the years, right? They take you everywhere, don't they?
Yeah, they do. My parents are great about it, and letting me buy new golf clubs all the time, because they say I like to do that more than I need to.
Well, hey, but you have to do that though, right?
Yeah, sometimes you do.
Yeah, okay. As you look at the season now, you're just starting here, but it's again your senior year, and I'm sure the other guys kind of feel this too. Do you sit down and talk about or think about some of the goals that you want to achieve here?
Well, I haven't really talked about it necessarily with my team, but I have with my family. And I guess last year I snuck into the all-conference in the last spot, and I'd really like to improve upon that and maybe get into the top 10 of the all-conference and maybe make that second day of sections and have a shot at going to state at least.
All right. I failed to mention too or ask you that what other activities are you involved in at school?
I ran cross country from freshman year through senior year. I think that's the only other one I'm in. Okay.
Well, we want to wish you well, and the team. I think the team actually is, again, you have a good core of guys out there. How do you think you're going to do this year?
I think we're going to do very well. We took second here at Sauk. We took third at Melrose. And so we're really going to try to go for second this year. That'd be great because, Minnewaska's tough to beat. They're 6 deep. Every one of them can shoot in the 30s. And
what's the deal with those guys?
I don't know. They must have something in the water.
Well, you got to get down there and steal it, I guess.
Yeah, I know.
But every year they seem to be pretty good. They're always good.
Yeah, they are. They are. They're led by Brett Buckingham and Esten Stensrud, who've been playing with them now for 2 or 3 years. And I think last year Brett finished a cumulative of like 10 over par throughout the conference. So.
All right. Well, you go get them, okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for being with us. That's Tommy Traeger. He is our Athlete of the Week, and it's all presented by Diamond Point here on Mid-Minnesota Sports.